Happy Sunday, everyone. It's Ruby D of Ruby D Artistry, and give me just a second while I bring Allison on. But I hope everybody is having an awesome Sunday and everybody had an awesome week. And I'm waiting for Alice to come on. With Allison, sorry. Girl, I have so much going on today. But I'm waiting for Allison to come on. We actually have another minute. But, like I said, I hope you all had a good week. And today is Soul Sunday. And yes, I'm waiting for Allison to get online so we can go ahead and get this live started. But while I'm waiting for her, I just want to go ahead and say thank you all that will be tuning in, not only live, but also on the replay. And as you come in, just let me know where you're from. If you listen to this or you watch this on the replay, of course, when you come in, type in replay and where you're from, so we can thank you for watching, whatever day that is. But where is Allison? But she'll be on soon. And until then, I'm going to keep talking because we have an awesome topic today, which is going to be setting the standard with self. That's what we're going to be talking about today on this Sunday's episode or edition of Soul Sunday. Just to give you a little background, Soul Sunday is a concept that I came up with Allison to, oh, there she is, to get, prepare the week that's coming up before the week that just ended, so we can, start the new week on a high note and end the previous week on a high note as well. That's how we ended is how we started. Hey, beautiful.
Hi, I'm sorry it wouldn't let me sign on. I had to try twice.
Oh, okay. I was like, you look like you got finished running. Like, okay, I gotta do this. But how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Girl, I'm fine. How was your week?
I have no complaints at all. I hope yours was just as beautiful.
Girl, yes. Yes, it was.
Good.
So, I was, finagling while we were waiting for you to get on. But it's okay because you're here. It's only a little bit after 2, so it's all good. But again, now that we have Miss Allison here, we can go ahead and get started. So we want to welcome you to this Sunday's episode of Soul Sunday. And this week's topic, like I said, is called Setting the Standard with Self. Now, I am Ruby D of Ruby D Artistry, and I'm the Goddess Entrepreneur and also author of The Goddess Grind. We grind with one eye open, which focuses on balancing your chakras in order to manifest success personally and professionally. And we have...
This is Allison Denise with Be Still and Move, the organization that's been designed to help you heal, grow, and live beyond that relationship status by becoming better, not bitter, and enjoying your life along the journey. Glad to be here.
All right. Yes, and if somebody could, please let us know real quick, hey, we got NYC. Hey, thank you all for watching. Y'all, please let us know if y'all can hear us and see us clearly.
Yes.
Because we don't want to start and you all can't hear us or see us. And, we want to make sure you don't miss the good stuff, the juicy stuff. And also make sure if you have any questions, please ask. If you have any comments, please type them below. Share with us. Be sure to share the video. If you find anything that we say beneficial to you, your life, or somebody that you know, definitely make sure that you share it. Hey, there go my, she almost my birthday twin. Hey, Miss McCowan, we thank you for watching. We thank you for being here. And, I actually need to text you, see if you want to hang out tonight. But I'll text you once we get done. I don't want to, But... to go ahead and get started, we got Long Island. Oh, okay. Thank you. Yes, we getting them today. But setting the standard with self.
Yeah.
So every week so far, I've basically been giving an idea or a working definition of what the topic is for today. And with today's topic being setting the standard for self, basically what I'm saying is in order for you to want to have those successful personal relationships, friendships, or business relationships, you have to have some standards.
Yep.
And why not set those standards with yourself? Basically, whatever you're asking somebody else to do or for somebody else to give you, you have to already be giving those things to yourself. Mm-hmm. If you're not already doing that, how can you expect somebody else to do it? And if you're not fully doing that for yourself, you can't get mad if somebody else is half doing it.
Right.
So, Allison, what you think about that topic?
I 100% agree. I think it's important that we have to raise the bar for ourselves. You know, I've been in a couple of situations this week where I have seen how I have inadvertently allowed myself to be okay with a certain standard that I usually wasn't. And it takes seeing what you used to be used to understand that what you have gotten used to is below that. And you just have to readjust sometimes. But if you don't do that with yourself, it's kind of hard for anyone to know exactly what's going to be acceptable treatment for you in any area of your life.
Exactly. And not only that, you don't have any way of communicating. You know, I'm a stickler for effective communication.
Yes, you are. So I love it.
Communicate that to anybody else if you don't know.
Exactly.
So, exactly. Hey, Tiffany, thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Now, before we get too far into the subject, make sure that you share the video. Make sure that you give us some hearts, some likes, some emojis. Whatever your emotion is today, share it with us. Because our goal is to make you feel better going into this new week.
Yes.
So, with setting the standard, of course, I've already mentioned pretty much throughout the weeks we've been touching on the subjects on how they affect us personally, with our friends, our family, and also our professional relationships as far as with ourselves. So we're definitely going to start with these friendships that we have. So with friendships, of course, we have expectations, and with those expectations, and yeah, I'm looking at my notes. I have to make me some notes so I stay on track. But we have, well, for our friendships, we have emotional expectations, we have physical expectations, mental expectations, as well as spiritual expectations. And if you don't have them, then you should.
Exactly. You should.
And, you know, with these expectations, it's not that you're setting yourself up for disappointment. It's just that you're basically identifying a standard where if they don't meet that particular standard, why are you even associating with them? Why are they even in your life? You got to have some standards, and you have to have certain expectations in order to make sure that your relationships, friendships, and etc. are beneficial for you and serving your greater good. So now with these friendships and these emotional expectations, a couple that I thought of was we definitely want loyalty in friends, and we want them to be honest with us. Now, you know, for me, that's the top two. You know, you really don't, I mean, of course you want your friends to sometimes be there for you financially. Like if you ain't got this, you know, $5 to get this meal real quick, girl, can I hold $5 or whatever? You know, you don't base the relationship or friendship on whether or not they give you $5 for a burger, but it does happen.
Yeah.
But most importantly, what we should be looking at, you know, in my opinion, is loyalty and honesty. If you can't, you know, have somebody that, well, you expect people to be loyal to you, because you know how we get, you know, we get a little territorial when it comes to our besties, and then they, you know, some other chick moving in like, wait a minute, you're not her bestie, I'm her bestie. You know, we get like that.
Yes, we do.
We get a little protective, and then we expect our friends to be honest. But you have to first be loyal to yourself, at least loyal to yourself enough to where you exercise your discernment, which we talked about that before. But you exercise your discernment to determine who should be in your life and who shouldn't be. Is a form of loyalty to yourself. And you have to be honest with yourself. Yeah, they might seem cool and blah, 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 but something happened and, you know, it was kind of a red flag. Be honest with yourself. No, you were not cool with that. And you should, make sure that you understand that from a personal perspective. And then again, that's probably somebody that shouldn't be in your circle.
Mm-hmm.
What you think, Allison?
I completely agree. And for those, because one of the things that I know that Ruby has also noticed as well as me is when we start talking about doing things like that for ourselves, because of the way that we've been programmed through our various experiences, we start thinking that this is us becoming selfish or self-centered, and that is not what this is. This is you figuring out what is your baseline, what is your the level where your non-negotiables meet and your must-haves meet. And when we're talking about these things like setting standards in friendships, the reason it's so important is because we look for various reasons to develop friendships that don't really help our greater good. It's just like, Ruby is saying with, the loyalty and wanting friends that you can trust. Well, it also means that you have to decide if you want middle of the road friends. And what I mean by that is, I don't care if you've had a friend for 10 years. Let's say that another friend that you guys have had did something that was just completely wrong, completely against your values, completely against this friend's values, but they decide to say, well, I'm just going to stay neutral. A neutral friend in certain instances is now your enemy. And you have to sometimes accept that that person does not have the backbone or the same standard and willingness to stand on it that you do. And it's at those moments that you can't look at, oh, but we went all the way through high school together. We sometimes romanticize our friendships too. I've known her since I was 5. I've known her since I was 10, and we went to college together. And that's great. But the minute that person shows you that you were on 2 different paths, it is really okay to say that my standard is more important. And I hate that you're not on the same side of that standard, but we are going to have to part ways. And it's right. Really okay to do that. So I completely agree.
Okay. Now, after emotional standards, we got some physical standards. And when I say physical, I mean, of course, you're not getting physical with your best friend, but still physical things like you want to surround yourself with people. Think of your health, for example. You want to make sure that you're eating healthy, you're exercising, you're taking care of your body and yourself. You kind of want to surround yourself with people that do those same things.
Yes.
Or either whatever you're striving towards, you want to surround yourself with people that are experienced in those same areas. So if you're, for instance, working on self, surround yourself with other people that are working on themselves and not so caught up in everything else that's going on.
Yes.
And trust me, this is only a few bullet points. This is definitely not, we're just basically scratching the surface of this topic and all of this stuff. Now, with mental, you want to when it comes to your friendships, set a mental, or you have mental expectations. So of course, you're not out here trying to, hang out with somebody that's not mentally on the same level as you are.
Right.
So of course, you have to make sure that personally or yourself that mentally you're where you need to be, or either you're working towards that. And what else did I put? Oh, and your level of intelligence. The reason I think the level of intelligence is important is because we are forever evolving, we're forever growing, and we're forever learning. It's important to set that proper expectation with yourself, because why would you not? I mean, simply why would you not? It's almost like you just want to be stagnant and on the same level for your entire life. And that's not beneficial to you. And you're not being beneficial to anybody else. So, I mean, like, really, why would you even, look at it like that? And then...
What's up, Mr. Santiago? What's up, Tiffany? I saw a couple of my friends sign on. Appreciate you joining in.
Yes, thank you all for watching. I'm sorry, I'm just talking, but yes, we thank you for tuning in. If you're tuning in, definitely let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you're catching it on the replay, type replay and let us know where you're from so we can thank you for watching and sharing and whatever. Hey, Tiffany. Hey, Monique. Now, and also we have to have spiritual expectations.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it's like, oh, um, like I use myself for example. I have no problem with telling anybody I'm a spiritual person. I'm not religious.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, just because I'm spiritual and not religious, that doesn't mean that I treat anybody with any less respect
Right.
than someone who may be religious is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't try to get over on people. I have morals, I have standards, I have values.
Mm-hmm.
Do right by somebody else and they'll do right by me. And that's just, pretty much how I am. But do I have anything against somebody that's religious? No,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely don't. We can sit down and have a full conversation. We can go out and eat. We can go hang out. We can do whatever, we want to do.
Right.
But when I say having spiritual expectations, it's just simply about being open minded
What's up,
and
big bro? Tell us
understanding.
where you're calling it, where you're signing in from. I see you
Yes.
there.
But just make sure that you're open minded when it comes to, friends, because simply because you and somebody else are meant or spiritually on the same wavelength doesn't necessarily mean they're good for you or they're there for your highest good. It could be somebody else completely outside of somebody that you never thought you would meet
Yes.
that can care more about you and support you more
Yes.
than somebody that's on the same level as you are.
Mm-hmm.
So, Allison, I was trying to go ahead and get through that real quick, but right now I'm trying to keep us on task, on time,
Oh, it's
so we
fine. I
don't run
love it.
over.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. But you could go ahead and chime in now because I know you got something to say.
So yes, the spiritual was the biggest thing that stuck out to me, as well as the intelligence. And
Mhm.
and I'm gonna just piggyback on what Ruby is saying. We're not saying that you think you're of a higher standard in terms of intelligence. That's not what we mean. But we know that there are people who want to stay in a state of learning, but we also have people who are fine just staying stagnant. And by default, as you continue to grow and learn and evolve, you are going to learn more. You are going to be exposed to more. And you are going to, in some instances, have changes in mindsets that you may have thought were very hardwired in you. And so all of those things combined mean that you are going to grow away from some people. And again, you don't want to romanticize that relationship or that friendship. You don't want to say, well, we should still be able to go down this path because we've been together since second grade. Well, maybe you're not meant to. And sometimes the
Mhm.
people that, and it's not that they're bad people. They could still be the same good, kind-hearted people. I think Ruby and I have both seen a video this week. There was a gentleman who happened to mention that as he was making some changes to a particular area of his life, a very long-standing friend was offended and mentioned
Mhm.
and just very offended. But the friend came back and said that the issue was internal. And that's something that we have to sometimes remember. Anytime you're doing right by someone or doing right by yourself, and you have a friend who has an issue with it, it is usually internal. You are
Mhm.
projecting something on them that they don't want to face within themselves. And that's exactly what this friend came back and said. He was upset that this particular person was moving on with their life and things had progressed and their life was still the same. And that's not our fault. Now the good
Mhm.
thing is when you do stand firm and stay focused and set these standards for yourself, you'd be surprised how many people need to see you do that so that they can do the same thing. And so by
Exactly.
default, you're helping them to get up and wake up and flip that switch and get that thing reignited that's within them because you're setting the standard for you. Sometimes people need to see what it looks like before they
Right.
actually do it. And so that,
Mhm.
that's where that intelligence is really important. And even the spiritual, you just have to understand that we are all spiritual beings. We are all connected. We are all here to learn, grow, and evolve. And some of us choose to go one path. Some of us choose to go a different path. Some do non-religion. Some do religion and then pick a religion. None of that matters. You need to spend more time dealing with the person. I've seen a lot of
Right.
hurt feelings because people decided that they wanted to remain friends with someone just because they had the same religion or had the same belief. And When you have a lot of people around you who are just like you, you're not going to learn because y'all are all at the same pace. You need to have someone who has a difference of opinion and knows how to respectfully let you know why they feel that way. That is what growth is about. And setting that standard with yourself by saying, I want friendships that help me to grow and progress and evolve. And I also want to be the type of friend that can help someone else learn and grow and evolve. That is a winning combination. So this is a beautiful process for those who may still be afraid of it.
Mm-hmm. See, I told y'all Allison had something to say. So, okay, now we touched on the friendship. Hey, Monique. Hey, thank you, beautiful. And we got Miss Beeman checking in. Hey, girl, how you doing? Thank you for watching. Yes, let us know where you're from. Comment below. Let us know where you're watching from. Now, the next one is relationships. Of course, everybody always talking about relationships and relationship goals and relationship this and why they don't work and why men cheat and all this. Why are you concerned about that if you're not where you need to be? You haven't set that standard with yourself. So why are you concerned about being in a relationship at this particular time? Set some standards and go from there. So, of course, with the relationships, we're going to talk about some emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual expectations that we have. So, of course, for relationship, when it comes to emotional, of course, we want someone to love us, somebody to care about us, and someone to do all those little extra things to make us feel special.
Yes,
do it for yourself. Love yourself. Care about yourself, make yourself feel special, set some standards. And if you run into somebody who's not doing it, then guess what you need to do? You need to just let them go ahead and go. And you know what? This it's not really off subject, but I just want to say this. Nobody told us that every time we meet somebody that we attracted to, that we have to automatically look at them as if we want to be in a relationship with them. Stop that. Whenever you meet somebody, just focus on being friends, just focus on chilling, and don't have the expectation of, oh, he's cute, he's this, or she's this, and she's that, and maybe this might be a relationship. No, because that's where you start to, try to do all these other things that's not really you. You start having these expectations, and you mad because in your mind, you already then thought about y'all getting married and this person just want to go get some ice cream or a cup of coffee and you mad because they didn't make you feel special that morning because they're not on the same page you on. Stop that. Now back to what I was some physical expectations. Y'all know when y'all in these relationships, it's gonna get physical. Of course, you want them to be healthy, healthy individuals, but not. And if for any reason, they have any medical issues or anything that you need to be made aware of, have that discussion with them. But at the same time, you have to set that standard with yourself. If you know that you're unhealthy, work on that. Maybe they can help you in that. That's something that y'all can work on together.
Right.
And then when it comes to, getting physical, just make sure that be open-minded when it comes to that, because some of us, we in our head it's been one way, but then once it actually happened, we just be like, ugh. You know what? When you get to that part of it and you have these expectations, just be open-minded. And when I say open-minded, be willing to communicate what it is that you need to your partner.
Right.
Hey, Gloria. Hey, beautiful. Thank you for watching. Make sure y'all share and let us know where you're watching from. But, I'm going to kind of just stop it there, and I'm going to go ahead and let Allison tune in real quick.
You are so on the right page, and I want to add to what you thought was off topic, but really wasn't, where you're talking about the expectations and just remaining friends. Part of setting standards is also go along with what Ruby said and also add what you're looking for.
Yes.
Because that is one of the areas that you do need to focus on. If you know you're in a position where you have done the self-work, You know that you're ready to both give and receive in a relationship, and that is what you want. You don't want to waste weekends and time with someone who's let you know that they're just looking for something casual. If you want to remain friends with them, that's fine. But one of the things that I see, and I hate to say it this way, but I do think that we as women tend to do it more. We see someone we like, we see someone who has the qualities that we say we're looking for, and the person says that they're not interested. Now, I'm not talking about the ones who told you that they were, and then they just started flipping the script back and forth, but the ones who tell you up front that for whatever reason they don't want a relationship. You have to start taking people at their word. You can't start thinking just because you are this great enlightened being that you are somehow going to change their minds. And you shouldn't even want to, because that's one of the quickest ways to set yourself up for disappointment. So I'm going to get back off that tangent too. But the emotional piece, one of the things that I want to add is when you are setting those standards, Ruby is so right about the fact about taking the time to do those things for you. You have to figure out what you like. Do you like candles? Do you like baths? How do you feel when you come into your home and see roses? Do you like it, or do you think it's unnecessary? Do you say, oh, these are beautiful, or, oh God, they're going to die in 5 days? You know, what is it that gives you that feeling of security and love and peace and acceptance? Because if you don't know what you like, you're going to basically take the person who's interested in you through a bunch of changes, because they're going to do something, you like it, and then the next time you don't, and then they try to do something else. And you need to learn what you like. You need to be willing to take that time to understand. I like my back rubs. I like massages. Okay, I do like candlelight baths. I do like going out to dinner. I do like walking through the park. This is cool. That way you'll know if that person is willing to do it. And the other thing that you also need to understand is, as you were setting those standards, add in the ability to display a love language to the person the way that they need to see it, instead of trying to force them to accept it the way that makes it comfortable for you. You may be comfortable. Your standard may be, I just need a man to show me attention and affection. Well, let's say that you date a man who doesn't necessarily need the attention and affection, but they openly tell you that their biggest thing is words of affirmation. So if you're always hugging and kissing because that's your standard, but what they need to hear is, baby, I love you, I respect you, thank you for doing it. You're never speaking what they need to hear to open up to you. And so when you're talking about setting that standard, make sure that your standard in relationships is to also be open-minded and to understand that you will most likely meet someone who's going to challenge you to demonstrate love in a different way than what you're comfortable with. But that is all part of the growth process. So just be open to that. I think I'm done.
Yes. Learn your love language and learn your partner's love language. That's important, and that will be key. Of course, for relationships, when it comes to the mental expectations, that's pretty much the same as, friendship, but it goes a step further, because in that relationship, that particular person is the one that you should be able to be emotionally naked with, that you should be able to, really pretty much talk to about anything. I'm not saying they have to be your best friend and you have to tell them all of your business, but you at least have to feel that you're comfortable to where if it was something that you really wanted to talk to them about, they're open to listening to it.
Exactly.
And you have to be that same way with yourself. Don't be like you have to address an issue, but then you're scared to talk about it and you're just talking to yourself. No, take the time to think about it. Take the time to feel what's going on. Take the time to understand why. Because if you're talking to somebody, you're going to want them to understand where you're coming from. You're going to want them to understand what you're feeling.
Yes.
And 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to, you may ask them for advice. Exactly. But why would you ask somebody else for some advice when they don't know every single detail? The only person that knows every single detail, emotion, and aspect of what's going on is you.
That's right.
Trust yourself. And a lot of times, whenever you make these decisions, make the decision based on, how you really feel about it, what works best for you. People don't know what's best for you. They have an idea, but you never know what their intentions are.
Exactly.
And then it's the same thing with spiritual, relationships, friendships, pretty much the same when it comes to, being open-minded and just, accepting people regardless of whatever, spiritual path they decide to take.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I got to say about that.
All right, so I will piggyback on Miss Ruby. Let me see. Oh, what's up, David?
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. Okay, so I'm going to say this real quick thing about the physical piece that I forgot about.
Mm-hmm.
But Ruby mentioned, if you do have those expectations and they don't quite turn out to be what you thought in your head, that you should be open-minded. What I want to also encourage people to do is to understand that, just like Ruby said, everyone that you may be attracted to may not necessarily be a partner, but everyone that you're attracted to, you're not necessarily supposed to sleep with. And so, and one of the reasons, and one of the reasons that I want to bring that up is because as I counsel a lot of younger girls, and there is in some circles this belief that you are supposed to sleep with guys on the first date just to get it out of the way and see if you're compatible. But what they're missing is that true intercourse is going to happen outside of the bedroom. And so if you haven't taken the time to learn likes and dislikes, have that first fight, see how they handle stress, open up to each other emotionally. Right. If you haven't done those things, you really are just having sex. And you're not going to enjoy it. It doesn't matter how good they are or how long they last. If you don't have that connection, it's not going to feel like you want it to feel. So I just wanted to put that out there. Now, in terms of emotional, what I want you to understand is I'm not one who plays games. There are a lot of people who say they play checkers and not chess. I don't believe in none of that because they're both games, and I don't think that needs to be in a relationship. But I do want you to be aware of what happens when you are emotionally open with the person. So if you think back, when you find that your emotions are opening up to a person, you find that you start to share more. And if that person reciprocates and either gives you something that you need to see or hear that lets you know that those emotions have been heard and validated, or they even share some with you, what begins to happen is a level of vulnerability. When you start to have that level of vulnerability, then the two of you get to a place where you're not necessarily strung or hooked on each other, but you do start to develop more value in the other person's eyes. And that's where it becomes, it doesn't become as easy to walk away because that person has shown you that your emotions are safe and your words can be trusted and they won't betray your confidence. And we know that those are very rare things to have. So while you're in the process of opening up emotionally to people, what I also want you to watch is how much they're opening up to you. There are some people who enjoy receiving more information than they give. And it's because they do have that chess, not checkers mindset. They want to know all of your moves and all of your buttons without giving you theirs. And when you're doing your setting standards, when you are walking through the process of setting your standards, the reason this is so important is when you have learned to trust your own instincts, enjoy your own company, do things that you want to do with a companion, but you've learned to do them by yourself and enjoy it. When a person comes along, you're not so empty and starved that you're willing to put up with the bad behavior because you've gone to the movies by yourself. You've opened up to yourself. You've meditated by yourself. You have balanced your chakras through Ruby by yourself. You've done all of these things.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Good plug.
So you've done all of these things. And what I don't think people understand is the freedom in waking up one day and realizing that you now want a companion. You don't need one.
Right.
That is such a beautiful feeling, and it gives you power, not in the sense of using it for bad, but in knowing what to walk away from because you're not so starved for the attention or the emotional connection because you've done all that for yourself. That is so important. And spiritual, that just goes without saying. Spiritual, you just need to understand where both of you are and if you can handle it. There are some people who are of one religion and just want to date people who share the same religion. There are people who have just decided as long as you believe in God, I don't care how you do it. Whatever works for you. But that's where you have to take the time to figure out what you want. Go back to setting that standard. I'm good.
All right, then. Moving right along. If you all are tuning in, let us know where you're from in the comments. Definitely share the video if you find that any of this information is beneficial for you or will be for
Yes.
somebody else. Don't be, shy. Give us some likes, some hearts, some laughs,
Yes, we like
whatever.
those. Yes.
And definitely, if you have any questions, y'all, it's okay to ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to leave comments, remarks, and whatnot. Hey, we're here to have some open discussion.
Yes.
And, me and Allison can sit up here and talk all day.
And we could.
But we definitely, right, but we definitely want you all to chime in and, give us some questions, some feedback, whatever you care to share.
Yes.
Now, we've talked about friendships, we've talked about relationships. Now it's thank you, Gabrielle. We appreciate you watching. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're moving on to this business and professional part.
Come on. Come on.
Like I always say, you cannot separate personal from I can't even talk. You can't separate personal from professional.
No, you can't.
So stop trying to do it.
Yes.
It comes from the same source. I don't know why y'all think y'all can, but we can't. We can't. We really can't.
Mm-hmm.
But with our business relationships, when you as a business owner, employee, career woman, man, whoever, when you establish these business relationships, you have to set a standard with yourself. So if you can't offer great customer service, then why are you expecting somebody to give you great customer service? Or if you're not very professional, why are you expecting somebody else to be very professional with you?
Right.
Be the example, set the standard.
Yes.
Now, of course, when it comes to business relationships, of course, we have some emotional.
What's up, big sis? One.
And of course, we want, when it comes to that emotional business aspect, of course, we want somebody that's straight business,
mm-hmm.
or they're serious about their business and they're not in their feelings all the time.
Yes.
But you have to have a good balance, which me and Allison talked about that in the first episode when it comes to feminine divine energy and masculine divine energy.
Yes.
It's a time and place for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
More so in business, it's more so, the masculine, the divine masculine energy that we use, but you also have to consider some feminine, because if you go to a business and hey, Tate, thank you for watching.
What's up, Tate?
Let's say, you want to pay a bill and you've been doing business with this place, it's your electric company. You've been having the same electric company since you've been in the house, and it's been 10, 15 years. And every time you go pay your bill, you talk to the same teller or the same person at the window. Well, you would expect for once for them to still be professional,
mm-hmm.
but let's say for some reason you came up short one day and you want to know, well, can I just pay this and, y'all not cut my stuff off?
Right.
Well, if the person was to be strictly professional and say, well, no, you have to pay the full amount. And if you don't pay the full amount, it's going to get turned off. You're going to feel some type of way, because you're going to be like, wait a minute, I've been with this company for 10 and 15 years and I've always paid on time, and now I'm a little short. Well, that's when you really want that divine feminine energy to come in and be like, emotionally, that compassion. I completely understand.
Mm-hmm.
And, we can go ahead and do it, go ahead and do this and blah, 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 and whatever. Trust me, you can't separate business from personal from professional.
At all.
But, those are the other types of emotional expectations you would expect for a business relationship to have. And it's not always that you have to own the business or be a business owner. It's just when you're working with businesses and other business people. If you have a partnership or you're looking at a partnership with someone, you would want them to be equally, balanced when it comes to their energy. So when it's time to be about business, be about business. But when it's time to consider some other factors, then you want to look at that too. So, and then of course, you still want your business partner to be honest with you. You
Yes.
still want them to be loyal and not out here, doing this with you and you and you and everybody else, and
Mm-hmm.
then thinking you all are, talking in confidentiality, but he's out here talking to five other people about a business idea that y'all discussing.
Yes.
So you want those expectations, but as a business owner, as a consumer, as an employee, you have to still set a particular standard, because if the shoe was on the other foot, if somebody's been doing business with you for 15 years and faithfully paying on time, and then all of a sudden something comes up, then guess what they're going to want you to do?
That's right.
And business relationships, as far as physical, um, to me, that's pretty much the same as a friendship, because um, it's not so much as physical when it comes to our bodies or anything, but more so like the physical health of the business.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to really be, working with somebody who's about to go out of business, or you have to, set that standard with yourself again
Mm-hmm.
of having a business with a firm foundation, a good, business plan, and, they have all of their stuff in order.
Mm-hmm.
And Allison, I'm going through this kind of quick because I don't want to, want us to go over our time.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and again, thank y'all for watching. I know I'm just talking. We've already talked about friendship, setting the standard from a friendship standpoint and relationship standpoint. Now we're talking about it from a business standpoint. But mental, be in the line of business that you're in. Know what you're doing, know what you're talking about, and know how to resolve issues. Just be intelligent in that particular area. And then spiritually, um, it's not so much in business, but just the individual that you are,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the business relationships, because um, we want you to have morals. We want you to have some type of, we don't want you out here just taking people money and acting like, you have absolutely no conscience about it. And come on now. I mean, this is business etiquette, and you knowing how to be professional, stuff like that.
That's right.
So, David left a comment, or he's, left a comment. Uh-oh, can I see the whole thing? Uh-oh. Wait a minute, hold on. I don't have my little tripod. It says it's about mindsets and frameworks in business, capturing the hearts and minds of your clients first, and then building a relationship. Only then can you get them to know, like, and trust you enough to do business with you. Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
Yes, it
And that's
is.
just like, having an expectation for that, whoever you plan on doing business with. I mean, even if you're investing money, you're just not finna go here go $50,000, invest that. No, you're gonna take time, get to know this person, build a relationship. Don't just be, I accept your friend request at 5 o'clock, and at 5:01 you in my inbox talking about, hey,
Oh,
I got a new product.
please stop doing that. Please.
Or invite me to like your business page, or
Yes.
you throwing me in your group, and as a matter of fact, that's not setting the standard, because you don't want nobody doing you like that.
At all. That's right.
Stop that right now. Stop that. Thank you, David, for your comment. We really appreciate it. But I'm gonna go ahead and let Allison chime in with her piece while I'm gonna balance these chakras, real quick.
Y'all are witnessing two women really, really working on time management, who are both passionate.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing. I'm loving this. So I'm going to comment. I want to real quick, the three of my hugest supporters, well, four. David, thank you so much for tuning in. My big sister, Melissa, I just want to make sure you heard me say hello. I love you. Monique, what's going on? Raquel, thank you for tuning in. Y'all tell everybody where you're tuning in from. So
yes.
For me, the business aspect and setting standards for your business, in my opinion, this is the easiest of the three that you can do. And the reason why is because you already have experiences with businesses. You know what you enjoy, you know what you don't like, you know what you don't want to do. And so what happens is, if you just take that moment as a business owner first to think about what you didn't like and experience with companies, you just do the opposite. You do in your business what you wish had been done for you.
Exactly.
As a patron, when you're doing business with companies, think about some things that you've seen happen that you didn't like. You may have seen a customer go off on an employee and you knew it was unnecessary. Don't turn into that person. Don't be the person who has the biggest mindset that I would like all of us to change. And I believe setting standards will do that, is the concept and the mindset that the customer is always right. No, you're not. You're right until you're wrong. You're right until you're wrong. Expecting more than you should, not allowing grace for mistakes. And don't get me wrong, I understand. I've been in those situations where a company has told me that I owed one thing. I call back and I'm told that I owe more, and it did cause an undue hardship to me personally. Sometimes I tried to fight it, but at the end of the day, the same way that you are never going to be perfect, you have to understand that you are going to run into situations where people will make mistakes, and give grace to those who admit it. That is the biggest issue, is companies that don't admit the mistake and try to add a fee here or add a policy here because they just don't want to admit that they're wrong. Those who say we screwed up and we're sorry, give grace for that, because down the line you are going to make a mistake and you are going to want grace for it, because your mistake could be so bad on the customer side that it could cost you your job. But if you plant the right seeds back here, they are going to come up and help you in the end. So really just sit back and think about what you enjoy. I feel I got remiss. I got to do this because there are 2 Black business owners online right now. We do not deserve customers because we're Black owned. Please hear me. We do not deserve customers just because we're Black owned. We should not allow ourselves to think that we have to give a lower quality, a lower amount of service, a lower amount of options. That we are not entitled to that. What we are entitled to do is provide the best level of service that we can, and being Black owned should not be your only claim to fame. That is not enough. And so set that standard as you are starting your business. Understand and even set what it is that you want to do. I know that I want my business to be debt free. I don't want to take out loans. But my standard is that either a lot is going to come out of pocket, I'm going to have to ask for donations, or my business is just going to start off slower than it might for someone who went and got a $50,000 loan off that. That's fine. I'm setting that standard and I'm making myself okay with what that answer and that decision means. So when you're setting the standards in business, know what you want, know what your goal is, and know what you like based off what you've experienced as a consumer, and know what you don't like based off of what you've done, and then put those things into your business with no excuses. That's
it. Okay. Now we've talked about setting the standard with self when it comes to friendships, relationships, and professional and business relationships. But we also have to understand that with setting standards, we also have to set boundaries. Of course, you have these standards that you want people to meet, a minimum standard that they need to meet in order for them to have this particular position in your life. But once they meet that, you have to have boundaries. You have to say, okay, I'm willing to deal with this, but I'm not willing to deal with that, or set some kind of boundaries, because don't let people take advantage of you, just like you shouldn't take advantage of yourself.
That's right.
Pretty much. But really, I really can't even think of anything else outside of, along with setting those standards, set some boundaries. But set some standards that are don't be out here and be like, don't be easy on yourself, is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because if you're being easy on yourself, it's like, are you really setting a standard, or you're
Mhm.
just giving yourself a pass? And if you
Yes.
start giving yourself a pass, you're gonna give other people a pass. You're gonna give
Hmm.
other situations a pass. We with setting the standards with ourselves, like I use me for example. If if somebody, message me or call me or whatever and be like, hey, I'm interested in you. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Thank you or whatever, this and this and that.
Yeah.
But then you don't call, you don't text, you don't check on me to see how I'm doing. You don't say, hey, you didn't even ask me if I ate today.
Come on.
You know what? You already below my standards. And I'm just going, we can still be cool or whatever, but you liking me, it means absolutely nothing pretty much at this point, because you haven't met that particular standard. Now I can understand if, you know what? No, I can't. I'm not even gonna lie like that. Let me just be honest with myself. I can't even lie like that. It ain't no excuse for you to at least say, "Did you eat today?" or "How you doing?" Or
No
if you're
excuse.
pretty
Mm-mm.
much, if you're really interested in somebody, they gonna know. You will have absolutely no problem with telling them.
That's right.
Just like um, a lot of times when I say, well, you know what? I don't say it a lot of times, but sometimes with men know, just like women know. Women know right off the bat if there's somebody that they're interested in or what category they're gonna put them in. Men know that same thing. They might not want to admit to it, but they know.
Hmm.
If they just a message, hey, I like you, and they're not in your inbox, they're not trying to start a conversation, and they never leave your inbox, they've already put you in that particular category. Trust me, if a man is really interested, he gonna go from that inbox to what's your phone number to text messaging to actually having a phone call and actually hanging out. That's just how it progresses. You don't stick to text messages. And if you haven't set that standard with yourself where you allow him to keep continuing to private message you, that's your fault. Set that standard. If it doesn't gradually progress, then why?
Right.
And it's, stuff like that we have to look at, simple stuff that we have to look at in life, and just start setting standards.
Hmm.
Stop selling yourself short, stop cheating, and stop wondering why all of your friendships ain't cool, your relationships ain't working out, stuff ain't working out right at work. First of all, you knew you were overqualified for working at this particular job, but because you needed some money, that's what you went on ahead and took, which we completely understand.
We
Sometimes we
do.
have to do stuff to until we get to the next thing.
Yep.
But at some point you have to decide to do better. You have to decide to want more, and you have to decide to work towards that higher level or that next thing.
Yes.
Don't just always settle, whether it's personal, professional, or just friendships. Stop settling.
I agree.
And pretty much that's all I got right now. I'm done. I think y'all get what we saying, and y'all understand. And if for some reason you don't, just go back and watch it again. Sometimes it may take a couple of times to be like, oh, now I got,
I got
it's
it.
okay.
I got it. Yeah.
But Allison, you got anything left? We try to keep this
Yeah,
within a certain time
we gonna be
frame.
done it too. This is gonna happen.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
girl, last time.
I'll just add a little bit to what Ruby said. The biggest thing with boundaries is you have to understand that boundaries and standards work together. A lot of times people use
Mm-hmm.
them interchangeably, and they are two different things, but they do work together. Your standards are you telling yourself what you want to expect and what you want to get out of any relationship? Like we talked about. We talked about three different ones today. The boundaries are, the best way I can say it is, this is how long I'm going to allow you to not meet this standard before I address it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we do have to allow grace and let people get to know us and get to learn us. But then at some point you have to say, I've made this part clear. So I don't think it's that they don't understand it. I think they just don't want to do it. And at that
Mm-hmm.
point, you have to be willing to say, I notice you're not doing A, B, C, or D. This is something that I need for you to remain in my life. Can we move forward? And you have to get to the point where you're okay moving forward alone, because some people just don't want to be told anything. And some people don't want to do what you're asking. And some people
Right.
want to see how long they can stay in your life doing the least amount possible. Those people have to go. And you have to be okay with that. So setting the standards, the important part is also being willing to enforce them. And that's where those boundaries come in. So just remember the way that those two work together.
Okay. So before we get done, I did, because we have Soul Sundays, and I told you I'm an author, and I have my online course now, Intro to Balancing Chakras and Manifesting Success. Thank you, boo. Thank you. But share the video, and out of everybody that shared, I'm going to pick 2 people, one to get a free copy of my book, and then the other to have access for free to my online course. But when you share the video, you have to tag me and you have to tag Allison. So if you don't tag us, I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm just going to say, if you don't tag us, it doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
You have to tag both of us.
Yes.
Like I said, I'm going to pick 2 people. And I will pick 2 people. Actually, y'all have until midnight tonight to share and tag me and Allison. And in the morning, I will announce who the winners are. Now, for the last little 5 minutes, for the last 2 weeks, we've been doing our soul to soul, our soul to soul tip for the week. Allison, you got one?
I sure do.
I was about to say, I told Allison she was going to do the next one, but I didn't remind her.
I didn't forget.
But go ahead, boo-boo, go ahead.
All right, so my soul to soul tip for the week is something that if you followed me, and since you have to tag us, that also means if you're not friends with us, you need to send those friend requests. Just putting that out there. Right. Ruby, Allison, Denise. Ruby, Allison, Denise. But the soul to soul tip for this week, I've talked about with my group, with my circle, and it's about gratitude. So whether you guys have a journal or whether you decide to implement this to your morning or night routine, what I want you guys to do is start working out some of the negativity in your life. And one of the quickest things that helped me, and when I say quickest, I mean it literally changed in about a week and a half. I started going to bed. After I meditated, I laid down. Before I closed my eyes, I came up with at least 3 things that I was grateful for that day. When I woke up in the morning, I came up with at least 3 things to be grateful for before I got out of bed. Now, those 3 things eventually turned into, sometimes I have 15 or 20, because some things that we have, we don't know that we're grateful for, and we don't know that we should be, because there are people who don't have them. Just like my ability to speak, there are people who can't speak. I have learned to appreciate that. And so the purpose of this assignment and this exercise is to get you to start understanding that you really do have more good going on in your life than you realize. And once you get to that point, it first humbles you. You'll first start to wonder why you didn't do this before. But next, what you'll start doing is seeing all of the good in every situation. And so that is my soul to soul tip. Start to thank the universe, thank God, whatever entity you use. Make sure that you're thanking that entity every day and every night for what you have, so that you can watch it expand. That's it.
Yay! Go buy my book.
Oh my God.
www.thegoddessgrind.com. Yes. Y'all knew I was. Oh, and shout out to Miss Allison for her debut in Southern Truth. Wait a minute, did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
Oh, okay. So, look, y'all go online and buy my book, www.thegoddessgrind.com. I'll post the link here for y'all. But balancing chakras and manifesting success personally and professionally.
Yes.
You can find me on Instagram at Ruby D Artistry, RubiDartistry, and my Facebook business page at Ruby D Artistry as well. And like I said, the website, thegoddessgrind.com.
All right. Allison. And guys, this is Allison. Be Still and Move. What's up, Trina? I see you signed in. You can find me at Facebook, Allison Denise, Be Still and Move. If you add an exclamation point, you'll come to the closed group. I'm on Instagram and my YouTube channel under I Will Be Still and Move. And I'll just throw out here really quick. I've been offered a major media opportunity. And so right now I am currently taking donations. Like I said, I'm keeping this thing debt free. So we're taking donations. We need at least 250 to secure it so that I can start telling more about it. We need about 1,500 to cover 3 months of the expenses that will be involved. So please find me, inbox me so I can let you know how to get those donations. You'll be doing them through my nonprofit, the HDL group, which means it will be a tax deductible donation for you. That's all I got.
All right. Well, oh, wait, what we gonna talk about? Oh, I know what I want to talk about next weekend. I mean, next Sunday,
Uh-huh.
we're gonna talk about self-care. And that self-care is gonna be emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical self-care
I'm
for next week.
excited.
So we want to thank you for watching. Make sure you share and tag
Yes.
me and Allison for your chance to win a free copy of my book or free access to my online course, Intro to Balancing Chakras and Manifesting Success. We thank you all for watching and we
Mwah,
love
mwah.
you all. Mwah. You all have a great week and see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.